In an exclusive, you likely remember, last month, Ukraine used an armed sea drone to strike a vital bridge that links Russia. Talk about Crimea. The weapons are remote-controlled. And tonight, for the first time, you're going to see the video feed from that sea drone. During the attack, Nick Patton Walsh got access to the footage. Here's his report. It's become the most beleaguered symbol of Russian occupation this weekend. Moscow, saying this incident was just foiling a Ukrainian attack on the $4 billion Kerch Bridge, the link between Russia and occupied Crimea that Putin seems to dote on. Now, CNN has obtained exclusive footage heralding a new way of warfare, devastating Ukrainian seaborne drone strike there in July from the Ukrainian security services, the SBU, who say they did it and more will follow. This is exactly what the drone pilots saw. Thermal imagery, the water rippling as up to a ton of explosive approaches the bridge. The feet then obviously went dead as it hit the concrete. Russian officials said 2 civilians died in the attack. Cameras on the bridge captured the first blast on the road section. The cursor shows the drone moving in, and another on the railway tracks. At about the same time, Ukraine has been coy, some officials saying these huge blasts are from, quote, unidentified floating objects. But no longer. The head of the Ukrainian security services told CNN this is just the start of what would see surface-to-air drones are unique invention of the security service of Ukraine. None of the private companies are involved using these drones. We have recently conducted successful hits of the Crimean Bridge, a big assault ship on Gorsky Gornik, and Sig Tinker. This another Ukrainian drone attack on the Russian amphibious assault boat, the Nagorsky Konyak, on which Ukrainian officials said 100 personnel were on board. It was a remarkable feat carried out by a growing fleet of what they call the Sea Babies, hundreds of miles away from Ukrainian bases and right in Russia's coastal heartland. It put the Black Sea's east suddenly at risk. We're told you have done this drone. These drones are produced at an underground production facility in Ukraine. We are working on a number of new, interesting operations, including in the Black Sea waters. I promise you it will be exciting, especially for our enemies. Ukraine's ingenuity again and again, toppling the lumbering Russian Goliath. Nick, I mean, it's fascinating that they are being so public about this now. How the Russians adjusted their strategies in the Black Sea in response. Yeah, well, we don't know a huge amount about what Russia can do to stop these drones with the significant payloads that they do indeed carry. You saw the beginning of that report, how they're using smokescreens. It seemed over the weekend around the Kerch Bridge. But then they were very explicit. They were worried about Ukraine adapted missiles potentially hitting. So it's unclear what sea water level defenses they may have. We've also seen them earlier on this week using overt messaging to try and stop some of the grain shipments going through the Black Sea, taking a helicopter to sort aboard a green ship there as well. So a variety of things. Certainly Moscow, I think, taken aback by the extraordinary reach of these drones and their explosive power. Remember, as you say, but just because the security services are talking about this publicly now, might perhaps mean they felt comfortable enough in evading any potential Russian counter-maneuvers. Anderson, Nick Patton Walsh in Ukraine.